it's so interesting because, especially with all of us, we're all marketed at different times. We're like, here's the hot trending color for blank, blank season, or this is what you got to wear and blah, and blah, blah, blah. And so again, sometimes men and women, we get so confused with all the noise in any industry that it's like you lose sight of what you love. And so it's interesting because a lot of people, when they have their colors on, not everybody, but a lot of people are like, oh, well, these are the colors I naturally gravitate towards. And some people, if they're like, well, they're entirely out of whack with like what their palette is versus, what they're saying that they like. My answer or what I typically say to clients is usually like when you're out of whack like that, it's normally because you've been so taught into whatever is cycling at the time. And it's so normal. Like we have so much noise surrounding us at any given moment.
Welcome to the Clear Skin Chronicles, the podcast that takes you on a journey to uncover the secrets of achieving glowing, acne-free skin. We believe that knowledge is power, and by understanding the root causes of your acne, we can create a solid foundation for long-lasting clear skin. I'm Katie Stewart, registered holistic nutritionist and founder of the Clear Skin Solution, where we help women just like you get to the root cause of their acne.
And I'm Chris Brown, registered holistic nutritionist and program director in the Clear Skin Solution. Through functional testing, we pinpoint where the body system imbalances lie so we can dive deep into your acne clearing journey.
We work virtually with clients to clear up their skin from the inside out and have helped thousands of women worldwide regain their confidence. I cannot begin to tell you how excited I am for today's talk. I have been looking forward to it for, I feel like months now, because we booked Christie to come on the show a little while ago. And the reason I'm so excited is Christie and I have actually been friends for almost 15 years now. We first met Christie when I was working as a videographer at Cable 14. You were the style expert that would come on the show Hamilton Life, and you and I would get to do a lot of segments together and do a lot of filming together. So when we were planning our season, I was like, OMG, do you think Christie would come on and chat with us about style? So thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. I just adore seeing your face. I love meeting Chris. Thank you for having me on. It's such a pleasure. And I love talking to you again. This is so nice.
I know. And I got so excited that I didn't do her introduction. So I'm going to share a little about the lovely Christie Ressel. She is an international image consultant, trainer, and coach. And I love, because we are so similar in really our core mission is to be able to help women rise up so they can create more possibilities in their life. You have professional training in image consulting, life coaching, and color analysis. And we're going to be talking about color analysis today. So pumped. And I love that your mission is really to help women be, do, and have more in their life by helping them rise through style. You are an incredible image expert in the media globally, and now you're training other stylists to get into the industry so you can really expand on that mission to help more women. And if you haven't seen Christie, she has an incredible YouTube channel. I think you're up to like 133,000 subscribers on YouTube. You have an incredible presence on Instagram as well. So I've loved Christie over the last 15 years. We've really got to watch each other's companies and missions grow. And even though we do, different things, we're still in the beauty industry together. You're doing fashion, we're doing skin health, but at the core root, the mission is still the same, is to, at the end of the day, give women confidence in themselves again.
100%. Yeah. Empowering women is really what it's all about. I mean, when I look at it as like when I rise, you rise, we all rise together. Like it's all on that same core mission. I love it.
And everything you do, like I love watching your Instagram because I can see that empowerment piece really come through in the, in your captions you're using, in the things that you're sharing, the things you're, the videos you're putting on YouTube. And, when women are empowered and women feel confident, they can do such incredible things in the world.
Yeah. And we show up stronger. We just do bigger things. We encourage each other more deeply when we're feeling confident and strong in our own energy. And of course, if we look the part, we've got the fabulous skin, everything, like we just show up as a better version of ourselves. It's a win-win.
Absolutely. Because like we're always saying, we want women to improve their confidence and increase their confidence so they can show up in the world in a way that they want to. And for you, like us, we're doing it through skin, and you're empowering women through their closet. So for you, like what are some really aspects that you're looking at when you are helping women empower themselves through that closet?
Well, for me, it, and I know this is overly simplified, but it really comes down to that your clothing has to feel good for you. And I think the misnomer with style is a lot of people assume that, like, you know, you watch a video or a film and, you know, the woman is coming out in heels and all the makeup and, you know, she's dressed to the nines and like that's style, right? You think of like Sex and the City or something like that. And while that is definitely an aspect of style, that is not style. That's someone's personal style that you're watching that has been curated by a stylist for like film, or a blogger's put her outfit together, of course, that you see online. But style has so many varying specks of the rainbow, if you will. And for some people, you know, they feel sexiest in their style in a basic t-shirt and a great fitting pair of jeans that make their butt look amazing and feel super comfortable. And for some people that means dressing up, but it really comes down to, does your wardrobe function first and foremost for your lifestyle, and in addition to that, make you feel like the best version of yourself? And again, like, there's a spectrum with that in what that looks like for everyone's closet, and not giving yourself permission to not feel like you need to should yourself in your closet into wearing something that is not a part of the core identity that you have for yourself, or feeling like you've got to fall into the trends, or you've got to dress a certain way because that's what media is telling you to. Like, you got to look like this girl, or this body type is the one that's trending right now. Because again, it's all fluctuating, and it is a dangling carrot in front of your face that you will never catch. And when women try and upkeep with this is when the frustration mounts. This is when we start buying random like influencer links and Amazon stuff. And then your closet all of a sudden is filled very often with black for a lot of women, which doesn't work for a lot of people. And then all of a sudden you look at your closet one day and you're like, oh my God, not only do I not have anything to wear, but what the heck happened? I'm looking in my closet and nothing feels like me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then
easy, right?
it becomes this thing, and now you have this lost identity. So it always comes back to what is ultimately going to put a smile on your face, what makes you feel like you've got the things, so that, you know, if you've got a morning and you've got a meeting, let's say, for example, that you got to hop to, you know exactly what to pull from your closet. And if, God forbid, you know, coffee's spilling on you while the kids are grabbing at your pants or something in the morning, like, it's okay. It's like, babe, I got my besties hanging out in my closet. We're all good. And like, that's how style should feel.
Christy, were you at my house this morning? Because that's literally, I was making a matcha and did the green matcha not spray up at my white shirt I was so excited to wear today. I'm like, well, gotta go change my shirt now because we had this podcast today. So I love that you gave that example.
Well, it's just such a real thing, right? Like, as much as we all want to, you know, and this is the thing with social media, like, we all see the highlight reel from everybody's life. But the reality is like, we're all going to have spills and stains, you know, something's going to rip. Like, God, like me, I'm so clumsy. Like, I do things to myself all the time. And I'm like, but as long as you got backups and you got things that you can reach, you know, your style should be something that ultimately you look in the mirror, you feel magnetic, and you're like, yes, this is a woman that I want to be. But then you forget it. You're not tugging at your clothes during the day. You don't have to think about it after that. It's elevated who you are, and then you can go and do your zone of genius and whatever that may be.
Absolutely. And I think that's a big teaching I've got from you over the years. Is I used to be that person where I would buy all the trendy things and I would let other people say, oh, you should try this or try that. And I ended up with like things in my closet that I didn't wear because I didn't feel like me. Like, for me, in the beginning of my career, when I was in my early 20s, I didn't like suit jackets on me, but everyone told me you had to wear suit jackets. Yeah. I ended up with 10 suit jackets that I never put on because I didn't feel like myself. But like, if you're wearing one today and you look amazing, and I love that you said that it's about finding your style. And a good example is both Chris and I. Like, Chris is not a fan of bodysuits. I don't think Chris is going to be wearing the bodysuits that I'm wearing pretty much on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I'm just worried I might snap a little bit of my lady parts. So that's actually true. Those are true facts right there. There you go.
Well, if anyone's worried about bodysuits, you can always tuck them in versus like having them strapped together. But I totally feel you, Chris, because I feel the same way. And have to get like extenders for bodysuits if I choose to wear them. But even then, like, everyone, we have a different energetics that fold into our style. And so what works for me may not work for either of you or the next person and whatnot, which is so beautiful. And that's why we've got such variety in the fashion industry as a whole. But it's really giving ourselves permission to be that individual and not have to get, you know, the things that are shouted from the rooftops online of like, you've got to have a little black blazer. Like, I don't have a black blazer and I'm a stylist. I also don't have a little black Chanel bag, not my vibe. And so again, like, give yourself permission to make your closet whatever it is that works for you and ultimately, again, functions for your lifestyle, because that's when you're going to put a better dollar behind all of your purchases, and ultimately will make you less crazy about all the trends and will make you feel happier in your closet as a result too.
Absolutely. And I think especially we've seen, especially in the last 4 or 5 years, I'm sure you agree, Christy, is a lot of that casual like sweat, like the athleisure has been so popular. And I feel like we really range from that casual athleisure all the way up to dress to the nines. And you see kind of a whole gamut of that, especially on social media.
100%. Yeah. It's so interesting. Like once like everyone was working from home more over the past couple of years, it was interesting because like casual attire obviously was on the rise, but it's been interesting to see people's interpretations of that from something that's more edgy and streetwear to something just like cute and cozy and a little bit more feminine. Like, again, like there's something for everybody, which is so beautiful. Like it can really be individualized to and tailored to you and not have to be something that you see every blogger wearing.
Absolutely. So I'm curious to see Chris's opinion on this next question. Is I want to go back to like feeling empowered.
I'm already stressing.
I know.
I'm already stressing.
No, don't stress. It's a good question because I think this is a good one. So over the years, again, I've been following Christy's advice. I've really started to curate a closet that I feel good in, that makes me feel good, where I'm excited to wear the things in my closet. And, I'm not stressed like, oh my God, I have nothing to wear. Chris, how do you feel about on their, like your end? Like, do you feel like when you look at your closet, you're like, yeah, I love everything in here?
I don't know I've ever thought of it like that.
Interesting.
Oh, okay. I'm going to stop talking now, you two.
No, I know.
I love that.
Her face is going red. She doesn't like to be put on the spot.
I want to stop now. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Well, I might as well match my shirt, right, Christy? Look at me go.
You like
Because, my husband is a male version of Katie. So his stuff is trendy. His stuff is like, he's like, Chris, don't you watch the reels? No, I don't watch the reels, right? So when I go into my closet, I pick colors that resonate. I love pink. I have 2 pink sweaters. I have a red one. So I go into my closet and go, am I jamming red today? No, you know what? It's a bit too loud for me today. So I like this baby blue.
Love it.
Right? I gravitate towards black. It's my thing. It's safe, right?
It is a protective color also.
It is. It's very, those are my things. I just recently bought, I'm tired of carrying this purse because I tow 3 kids everywhere. So I bought, I don't know, they used to call them fanny packs. What do they call them now?
Belt bags, I guess.
Yeah, belt bags, yeah.
Belt bags.
Oh my gosh. See, everything.
But I mean, they still are fanny packs, let's be real.
Yeah,
right?
At the end of the day, it's an 80s fanny pack.
So I bought one, and it's the color of Katie's shirt. And I love the color in the store. And now I'm like, why didn't I get black? Why didn't you do that? So that's where I am. So I don't look at my clothes from that. I look at it from comfort. If you look at what I'm wearing, I always go screen up. That's about it. Guaranteed I have some fuzzy socks on. Guaranteed I have some track pants on. Guaranteed I'm in yoga pants. I don't care. At the end of the day, as long as I'm comfortable, because that's how I deliver my best self. That's how I deliver advice to people. That's how I coach. I have to be comfortable in order to coach. I don't want to be sitting here with like jeans and I get up and I'm like,
as I wear my skinny jean, high-waisted skinny jeans.
Yeah, I can't do it. Comfort is key.
But I love that because one of the things I get into with women is their energetic code, and there are different types of energetic codes and personalities that come into fashion, and one of them is the natural, and the natural is one that is a no BS kind of personality, and there's someone that can really see if somebody is being truthful or not. So you can't don't put up a front with the naturals. But comfort is the most important thing in their wardrobe. They've got this easy breezy kind of laissez-faire girl next door kind of vibe about them. And they feel and perform their best if their clothing feels like they're slipping on a comfy pair of pajamas. So I love that you're in tune with that. And I love that you've got elements of colors that ultimately speak to you, but you're so in tune with yourself that you ultimately choose what's resonating with you that day color wise, because that's such a big part of our wardrobes too. Sometimes there are colors that feel bold or aren't resonating with us, and then there are other times that we have colors that we crave, and colors of a visibility thing too for men and women. But it's such an intuitive thing when we go to our closet and we want or craving or desiring different elements in our wardrobe. So I love that you're tapped into that. That's massive. That's a huge part of style.
I am so making my husband listen to this.
On repeat.
Listen,
Steve.
You're my favorite. I'm so excited now. Now I'm willing to join. Okay.
See, now she's in on the convo. But I I think this is a really good time to talk about really that color science, Christy, right? This has been
Sure.
really popular, right? Where color has those healing qualities and the amplifying of the energy. So could you really speak to exactly what Chris said, where some days she wants to wear that red, she's in that boss mode, but then other days she's feeling she's in that black vibe?
100%. So color, and I'm sure your audience will resonate with this. Like we have energy centers that run down our body, meridians that run down our body that are chakras. And all of those chakras are correlated with different colors. And when we are our most healthy, and depending on what we've got going on in our world, because this can shift at any time, our chakras are their healthiest when they are their most colorful and they're most saturated. And so depending on what's happening in our world at any given time, what stressors or things that we're experiencing emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually, our chakras can go through different stress. And so there's a lot of science proven in the fact that depending on what is happening, our body will naturally try and heal itself through our eyes by choosing and selecting colors that resonate with us. And this can even go down to our clothing, crystals that you choose, etc. And so this is why they say, like, go into a crystal store, let your eyes scan whatever you pick, and then you read the description. It's like, oh my God, that is exactly what I need at that time. Your body knows, trust that. And it's the same with clothing. So even for, as an example or a story with this, I remember a couple of years ago, I was really struggling with my creativity, which is challenging when I'm in a very creative industry. And all of a sudden I started buying all this orange, which is not a color that I typically have in my closet. It's never been something that I craved. And I thought, well, this is really bizarre. I'm like on an orange kick, but whatever. I was rolling with it. And then I thought to myself all of a sudden, oh, but of course, because that deals with the sacral chakra, which has to do with creativity. Yeah. And so I said, oh my, like, of course, like my body's trying to heal itself and bring creativity into my world by wearing a heck of a lot of orange. And you can do this through eating oranges and all sorts of things. Like there's, obviously you guys know with the foods and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And so, our body is always trying to naturally calibrate and heal itself to bring you to your strongest and most powerful vibration. That also starts with color. And so you can look up all the different associations with the chakras, what they heal. And then you can look at your outfit right now and be like, dang, is that what I'm trying to bring into my world? Or by also looking at your closet and seeing what energy you are avoiding or potentially blocked from as well by the colors that are lacking in your closet too, which is just more of a self-awareness thing. It's not to, beat yourself up or what have you, but this is why color for so many people can be triggering at times, because not only does it make you visible, but it's expanding and bringing a certain energy into your world that you may not have been open to at this time for whatever reason. And this is why a lot of women can gravitate towards black, because it is a very, in fashion, it can be very like edgy and cool and all that kind of stuff, but it is a very protective, closed off color as well. And so there can be some healing in that, but also something to get curious about and look at too.
I love that because, I have so many, as you're talking, so many of my family members, my friends are all like, my closet is black. I don't have anything else besides black. And I think we could do like an entire like lecture just on color science, because for me, something I've been really into, I think for probably a decade now, is the energies and vibrations and frequencies, which we all operate on. And we can do that in so many different ways, including the colors that we're wearing.
100%. And this is why I love color analysis and that it's been so trendy, is that all of us have different palettes and undertones, etc., that correlate with our body, our body's natural energy field. And so not only are you learning colors that work best for you and enhance your natural coloring, you're just going to naturally glow. But because you're wearing colors that are so specific to your frequency and your coloring, it actually enhances and amplifies your body's natural energy system, which is also, again, a proven thing in color analysis and color science, my apologies. And it's so fascinating to see something that, someone might get really quiet, muted, soft colors, but you can see, but of course, like that's their personality. They are something that's more soft and gentle and whatnot as well. And then there are other people that have very bold, daring colors, and they are someone that is more forward thinking, progressive. They are a little like bold in their personality and kind of cut to the chase, if you will. And so it's fascinating that colors not only heal, but also correlate with who you are at your core essence. It's amazing.
It's so fascinating. And as you were talking, I just had this major aha moment. So earlier in the spring, we did a mini little rebrand here. And because you did my color analysis way back when I was a spring, I had that spring color palette in my purse for well over a decade, Christy. Literally, I would be in the stores opening my color. This is before we had apps and things on cell phones, matching it to like different things to be like, would Christy think this is fine? And oddly enough,
nothing to do with the people pleaser in there. Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. I even wore a spring color today for Christy. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to wear the spring. But what's really funny here is when we did this rebrand, we had our graphic designers and we were like, we really need a softer color. I just didn't love the colors we were using. They were too like dark and they just weren't me. And the graphic designers went and picked this beautiful lilac color and they took it out of a shirt that I had been wearing previously. And they started to, I like to say they lilaced everything. We just like let lilac take over. And when we went and rebranded and we, you know, rechanged the colors on the website, we went and redid it on the Instagram. I actually went and bought an entire lilac athleisure outfit from Lululemon. I bought all the lilac bodysuits from Skims, like you name it, I had it. And I felt this really energetic shift at the same time in everything that we were doing, right, Chris? Like, you remember when we went lilac everything, and you and Paige were like, Katie, I'm really loving this lilac that we're switching to. We're really feeling it. And we did this at a time when we were going through a company-wide transformation, and it was almost like a refreshing, and everything just, I feel like just changing a color was so simple. Yet it had such a profound impact on the energy of the company and myself as a whole.
I love that. And it's so fascinating too, because I love that you felt that shift, like both of you, because it's so interesting. Like just the simple switch of color is, again, to me, like style and everything about us is always like a layer of the onion. And so it's so fascinating that even adopting like one small element, even though you've done it in a big way with your brand, is just another way where it's another way of seeing yourself for who you are. And it's like this acceptance. Right? Of just like owning yourself, which is so powerful, even though it's through color, which also, Chris, I think would be a beautiful color for you. The lilac, just saying, even though I haven't done your colors. But anyway, all that to say, like, it's such a beautiful thing when we just showcase who we are because it is who we are. And there's no need to shift or change or whichever. It's just this beautiful acceptance of like, here I am and I'm fabulous and you're fabulous and all the things, right? Like, it's just, this is me.
Christy, all I heard is that when I have to do a new headshot for Chris, is that I'm gonna have to make her wear my lilac bodysuit. That's what
all I heard. All I heard was, "I'm fabulous the way I am." Actually,
I love it.
We'll get you a lilac something. Don't you worry, Chris. You got to be on brand. And I before we move on from the color, one thing I do want to ask Christy, which you already briefly touched on, is really about the chakras, right? The chakras that align with the colors. So could you kind of give us some examples of what those different colors and the chakras could correlate to?
Sure. So our crown chakra, for example, deals with, spirituality and deals with purple. So if you're wearing like a lot of purple, let's say, for example, that's like your spiritual chakra. So even if you're picking up crystals in that respect, that's what you're like calling into. Your third eye is more of a deeper indigo color. And so that might be something that you're calling into fruition as well, like that intuition. Your throat chakra is blue. And so a lot of times if you're someone that's wanting to bring communication into play, wearing a lot of blue or having that around you can be very powerful in amplifying your communication skills. Your heart chakra, this always what gets like more controversy, but this one can be associated with either green or pink. And so either of those colors can be beautiful. And so when I see someone wearing green or they got a lot of pink, even if you're rocking like a gorgeous pink lipstick, let's say, for example, I'm like, oh, hello, heart chakra, there we are. And so even like with, the Barbie core that's been happening and all that kind of stuff, like pink has been everywhere. And I'm like, yes, like let's all have a collective loving glow up. Like I love it. And then you've got, your sacral chakra, which deals with like orange, the creativity, if you will. It can deal with sexuality. You've got the solar plexus as well, which deals with yellow. And I'm drawing a blank at the moment as to what that deals with. Oh, I apologize. It'll come to me.
That's okay. It'll come to you. That's a lot of I was impressed you could remember all of the chakras to begin with. I was like, look at Virgo.
What the yellow is. I'm so sorry. But anyway,
just
and then the
pelvic region.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit of the sexuality or coming into,
And I believe it deals with your power. I'm sorry for anyone that's listening and there's like, oh my God, she got that wildly wrong. But anyway, and then we've got the root chakra, which is your trust and security and like your rooting of your personal power, your safety is red. And that can deal with your passions and whatnot as well. So it's
Chris,
really cool.
You do love your red. I've seen you wear that red hoodie a few times now.
Yeah, I'm just today I'm not loving the red because the red might have made a debut today,
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to because you know what Katie always says, Chris, a hoodie. Do you own anything that does not have a hoodie? I was like, look at me go today. I don't have a hoodie.
She actually said that. She was like, look, no hood today. I was like, okay. I
I love
wasn't going
it.
to say anything.
Well, she got a little bit of the purple, so we've got some of the
Little
spirituality.
something going on in there.
Yeah, the crown chakra.
Grounded with my protective, right? So I don't have to show too much personality. I get it now. Now it's all working out.
I love it.
I think the colors are just so fascinating. I know we've briefly touched on the color analysis, but Christy, you were saying that color analysis is really trending right now.
Oh my God, it's exploded everywhere. We haven't had the surgence in color analysis since the 80s when it sort of first came on the scene with Color Me Beautiful. And I don't know if the surgence started on TikTok or what have you, but it's really just gained momentum over the past like 2 or 3 years. And everyone's trying to figure out their colors. And so I'm sorry if anyone is trying to DIY it that's listening to this, but do not go down that route, especially if you plan on actually investing in clothing behind it. Like everyone that's saying like, oh, ChatGPT can help you with this and whatever. I'm thinking, please, for the love of God, like even if you're on a tight budget, just stop the shopping for about a month, save your pennies, get your colors done, and then invest. Shopping. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, ChatGPT cannot do your colors for you, unfortunately.
No, it's always wrong. I laugh as I'm watching it. But yeah, I train color analysts now, and I do colors as well. Not as often anymore, but I do them. And anyway, it never ceases to amaze me after the 17 years I've been doing this, how much it transforms someone's energy, someone's closet, someone's shopping habits. It's fabulous.
Mm-hmm. It's fabulous. And when you do say color analysis, could you kind of just quickly walk us through what the different color palettes would be?
Oh gosh, there's lots. So
there's lots. I'm thinking it's 4 seasons.
Well, it used to be. It used to be. So at its core, when color analysis began, it was 4 core seasons. Summer, which is muted, hazy colors you might find in the summer sky. Let's say, for example, there was autumn, which is of course like the autumnal colors you would find on the leaves on the trees during the autumn season. There was winter, which is if you think of snow and the color that bark like really gets like deep in the winter time, or colors you would find in a jewelry box like emeralds and rubies and things like that. We've got that. And then spring are the colors you would find in spring, like grass green, buttercup yellows, sky blue, things of that nature. There's things that you find like happening in nature with all of those seasons. That's why they're named the way they are. But there are sub seasons within all of those. And so I use an advanced color system that has up to 16 palettes. And so I won't bore you guys with all of those because it just gets a bit nuanced. But, as we know in society, like we don't all fit into a cookie cutter mold of 4 things. Like it would be really hard to categorize people into 4 chunky molds, if you will. Mm-hmm. And so colors are much more specific and nuanced and deal with the undertone, value, and intensity of your skin, and helps you find, again, like the colors that resonate with not only your energy, but your personality. And when you start adopting them into your closet, and this is why I've always started every single client off with their colors, your closet mixes and matches. And so it brings an intentionality and a strategy to your shopping and makes sure that your dollar stretches a lot farther whilst also making you look really on point, which is great. No one's mad about that,
And I was thinking about my closet as you were talking, and like whenever I buy those, I think is a Cool Spring one of them. Am I correct there? Or am I wrong?
There's a Light Spring. Yeah, it's more neutral.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was what mine is. And I think now when I look at any of those colors, they mix and match so well when they can be layered. They can go with the pants. And I really kind of like had, again, another aha moment when you talked about the mixing and matching.
Oh yeah, it makes everything a no-brainer, and this is for anyone listening that's like, oh my God, color analysis is so limiting. What does that mean if I want to buy something that's not in my palette? Especially a lot of women that love to wear black. I'm not looking at you, Chris, in particular, but also just saying, but like, a lot of women like to wear black. And so if I tell them, you can't wear black, it's not a part of your palette, people are like, oh my God, well, colors is so limiting. Like wear what you want. And here, like, I get you. I want you to wear exactly what you want. And so the way that I frame it for anyone that's thinking this is color analysis is a tool. And like any tool, you get to decide how much you use it. So even for me, I live and die by my color palette about 95% of the time in my own wardrobe, because why would I not want to wear things that make me look my best? However, if I stumble upon something in a store and I'm like, damn, that's cute, I would really want that, and it's not in my color, at that point, I get to make an informed decision as to like, I don't care, YOLO, let's wear the thing that makes me happy, or I can choose to pass on it and look for something else. So again, like it's only limiting if you frame it from that lens, but I find it to be one of the most empowering things, because everything with style and all the things that we do in our life, how we choose to eat, or again, to have beautiful skin, everything comes down to choice. And so it's what we choose for ourselves and how we would like to use the tools that we have.
I think Chris and I were thinking the exact same thing as you were talking. Chris, were you not thinking this is the exact philosophy we apply to food?
Absolutely. To protocols, to we need to do for you to make the best you while you apply it. You know, it's a choice as well if you're going to do it that day or not. Yeah, absolutely. I was like, okay,
I was like, oh
don't,
my God, yes,
I'm like, don't catch me on a, oops, no, I wasn't. But yeah, totally nailed it.
Yeah.
It's totally
it has
right.
Has to be fluid for all of us and everything in our life, right? Like everything's not so black and white.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like 95% of the time I'm eating like on point, what I know works for my body. But that 5%, maybe at a music festival and I want to get the ketchup and fries, that's where I'm going to go and do that. So it really is finding that balance in everything that you do.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Because otherwise you suck the fun out of everything too, right? From your food and you know what you consume. It doesn't feel fun anymore if it's like I have to do this versus I choose to do this. This is ultimately what I know I'm desiring and I'm wanting to elevate for myself. And our style is the same way. Like everything is a tool and a choice.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a bit painful too, right? Just like I have that. What is it? Belt bag? So it's belt bag, right? Okay, I
love a belt bag. I love
and
a belt
now
bag.
And now when I grab it, I feel uncomfortable because it's new. Because I'm pushing out of my blacks, right? You apply a protocol, it's new. You're learning a protocol, it's new. You're learning how to eat, it's new. Yeah. So I do love that schematic, which is really interesting. I'm going to share a Katie point with everybody here.
What is it?
Katie's calendar is all pastels. It's all spring.
Me too.
Look at us,
is
Christie.
I love that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My full calendar is very spring.
This is all very, this is all connecting. A little extra Katie for me, right? And my little analytical brain here. I'm like,
She's made the map is connected for her with my pastel calendar, my pastel wardrobe.
Well, and this is so interesting too, because not to harp on color, but I love that you have pastels in your calendar, because same. But it's so interesting because especially with all of us, we're all marketed at different times. We're like, here's the hot trending color for blank season, or this is what you got to wear, and blah blah blah. And so again, sometimes men and women, we get so confused with all the noise in any industry that it's like you lose sight of what you love. And so it's interesting because a lot of people, when they have their colors on, not everybody, but a lot of people are like, oh, well, these are the colors I naturally gravitate towards. And some people, if they're like, well, they're entirely out of whack with like what their palette is versus, what they're saying that they like. My answer or what I typically say to clients is usually like when you're out of whack like that, it's normally because you've been so taught into whatever is cycling at the time. And it's so normal. Like we have so much noise surrounding us at any given moment, but at our core, if we really listen to what we love and don't have any judgment around what they would mean for us to like something that maybe is not trending at that moment, it's interesting what people would choose for themselves.
I love that.
All right, so I have 2 questions.
Oh, Chris has questions.
I do love. Oh my gosh, bring it.
Chris usually does not participate sometimes when there's guests because I'm actually listening. That's why.
Chris is a listener, and I have my TV interviewing skills, so that's how we.
I like to process, right?
So
okay, ready? 2 questions. First, and I'll pause and then I'll go to the next so that you can answer. So, what happens when there's a bit of controversy? Your colors say pastels, but yet everything your eye goes to is like bold.
So there's 2 folds to that. And this is where I love style because I could nerd out on it forever. So color is one small layer of the onion when it comes to style. And so it's one aspect of your personality, one aspect of your closet, one aspect of who you be. The other part of it that I got into is your energetic code. And there's a part of you that also folds in that is the DNA of your personality and what you are drawn to as a person. And so there are some people that I call their energetic code with me would be called their powerhouse. And the powerhouse is someone that is a very bold, progressive energy. They're an innovator, they're forward thinking, and they tend to like really dominant prints, structured things that have attitude, things that are visible, things that are bold, even color wise. Like they tend to love white, black, hot pink, and red. Like those are their things. and they like, that's how they amplify their power. And you can see this even in their house. Like, I can get into the house, the decor, everything. And so when you fold that into like the color palette, sometimes they don't necessarily correlate. And so it's like, how do you bring in like your color with the powerhouse and create outfits that still make you feel visible and allow you to have that progressive kind of energy that you're drawn to and that you're craving, because that's exactly what you should have. And how do you bring that out with your color? So it's like another layer to the onion that you can fold into your closet.
See, that's so cool,
That's
right?
cool.
So for
Yeah.
people, is it fair to say for people like myself, I'm just using, because, mundane, like neutrals, because black and white, I call them neutrals in my.
Yeah.
So if we like bold, then, but we can't wear it because we put that but in there, or there's some kind of, DNA structure or preconception because of a lifestyle, whatever it is. We can start small, right? People can wear socks, or they can change, like I mentioned, Katie's calendar. They could put their calendar, or they could buy a notebook with that
Their
color.
underwear.
Yeah.
Your underwear.
Yeah, 100%. So it's so interesting because, again, where are we on our spectrum of growth and accepting who we are, and like, what do we need to heal? And so bold can mean different things to different people. And again, what I find some women do is they think like, okay, I either got to be more bold, right? We're starting to shoot ourselves, or it's something they deeply desire. And what I find a lot of women do when they're in this situation of wanting a shift is they go so big and they dive into the deep end right off the bat. And then because it's too much, even though it's where they want to calibrate to, they look in the mirror and it's like, oh my God, like I would never. And then they freak themselves out. And then they, instead of just accepting that maybe they just dove off the deep end too big and bit off more than they could chew at once, they write it off as like, this is not me. I will never explore this again. Mm-hmm. And so what I say to women instead is exactly what you're suggesting, Chris, is like, you meet yourself where you're at. Mm-hmm. If, let's say, in your deepest desires, you want to be a woman that wears a bold lip, I'm just throwing something out there. Like, rather than taking the boldest, daringest red in your palette or whatever color you're eyeing and swiping that baby across your lips, instead pat it on so it looks like a stain. Or maybe find a lip gloss that has like just a tint of color that feels a little daring to you, right? Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, you can just swipe it off if it doesn't feel good. Or maybe it's a nail polish that you're trying for the first time. Or perhaps like socks or underwear. So again, like maybe it's something just for you. Or is it a scarf or is it an accessory where it feels a little bougie to you to wear it for the first time, because that's not something typically that you do for yourself. And then once your eye and your energy acclimatizes to that, you will find that you are more open to the next thing. So as an example, I had a woman, this is going years and years back. She was someone that also loved to wear, she only wore black. That was it in her closet. And we had done her colors, and
what's her name? What's her name and number?
Is it Chris?
Yeah. So we had done her colors. She was a spring like Katie. Wow. And anyway, so we had gone shopping, and she goes, okay, I'm ready to buy color. And she kept telling me, she's like, I'm going to buy all color. And I'm thinking in my mind, babe, like, it's not going to happen. But I'm like, okay, sure. Like we will buy color for you. And so we had her try on a whole bunch of things. And at the end of the day, she bought everything black except for one coral sweater. And she was kind of down on herself about it. And I'm like, it's fine. Like, this is a win. You have a pop of color in your closet. Finally. Amazing. And so she called me 3 months later and she goes, Christie, we have to go shopping. And I said, what do you mean? And she goes, all I wear is the damn coral sweater. She's like, I have nothing to wear now because everything is coral. She's like, I'm literally repeating the same sweater all the time. She goes, we got to go shopping. But again, I'm so glad that that's how it unfolded for her, because had she gone head to toe color, she would have been like, gosh, this is too loud, and would have just reverted back to the other things she had in her wardrobe. And so you always meet yourself where you're at. And the other question I would encourage anyone to ask themselves at any given time is, when you're trying something new for the first time, whether it's a color, a silhouette you've wanted to wear, when you're experimenting, beware of your thoughts and ask yourself, what are you making it mean? Or what are your thoughts saying to you when you're trying this new thing? Is it serving you? Or are you saying like, God, like, who does she think she is? People are going to look at me. People are going to, whatever. Don't look at your thoughts with just neutrality, and don't judge yourself for it. And then just have some compassion for yourself and ask, like, how's that actually not true? I get to be the woman that gets to wear color. Any woman I have ever talked to loves seeing another woman they don't even know come into a restaurant, a meeting, walk down the street, and she is owning her style, even if it's not something you would ever wear. But we just love seeing another woman in her power and in her confidence. It's so inspiring, right? Like, you can get dressed up and go to the grocery store and pick up bananas, right? Like, or like if you're trying something new, maybe it's a hat. A lot of women have weird things about hats. Try whatever the scary thing is in your style and wear this said thing, the bold lipstick, whatever, as you go to pick up a Starbucks coffee and you're going back home. It's a quick little like ripping off the Band-Aid that feels a little exciting, a little daring, but it's a short-lived thing. And then if it feels like too much, you just take it off when you get home.
I love
So
that.
always make
And
yourself where you're at.
one of my favorite things, because I like to people watch. I know so many people do, but I love when I see, like you said, a woman just owning her look. And I'm like, I could never pull that off. And that's like that energetic component is, I'm like, she looks phenomenal. The confidence is exuding, and it's so powerful when you see a woman just completely owning it and it's completely her vibe.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone feels so like, I think this is the beautiful thing about why we love, hearing people's stories about them succeeding or watching someone in like their power when they're dressed and feeling so good. It's just like, we are almost living vicariously through them in that moment. And it's like, yes, I want you to win too. Like, I know what that feels like. I want that for you also. And it's like that person's exuding a magnetism that just bleeds into everybody else. It's a vibration. You feel that. Yeah.
I love it. Now, one final color question, because I think talking about some sustainability tips will be great, is, we deal with acne, right? And a lot of our clients, they do come in, Chris, where they have the inflamed skin. It's red, maybe has a purple tinge to it. What would be some colors or some strategies they could do, which would, almost calm down that redness in their skin to make them have that a little bit more confidence?
Okay, so a number one thing that people actually don't think about is color analysis actually can help with that. So when you're wearing colors that work with your coloring, it actually makes the skin look smoother, less red, and has less lines on it. And so just simply by choosing to wear something that resonates with you can actually make the skin look calmer. The other thing too is knowing the undertone of your skin is really powerful for like from a makeup perspective. So even if you don't have your colors done, you can go into a makeup counter and like Sephora, I think, and I don't remember what it's called, so I apologize. I think they call it their IQ test or something like that for your skin.
Something like that, yeah.
And they can match your skin tone and figure out like what foundation or concealer, etc., works with your undertone. And so if you can find something that's either like more pinky, more yellow toned, again, whatever your undertone may be, and use that as a very light concealer, that will actually blend better than just haphazardly choosing something. Because if you get the wrong undertone, this is when makeup tends to look like it's sitting on top of the skin and it can almost look too dark or too light. And then you still see it's not really matching the skin all that well. So undertone is everything. And one of my most favorite affordable brands for anyone that even wants to try this at home and see what color kind of disappears into your jawline if you swatch it on there is the L'Oreal True Match line, because they have cool, warm, and neutral foundation. It's labeled right on the top of the cap. And so you can kind of hold it up and get a sense of what might be working for you. And then the other thing is you can use the color wheel. And so if you're looking at, what color a blemish might be, you can just Google the color wheel online, and whatever the blemish color is, choose the opposite color of that on the color wheel. And that can also help cancel out any redness or funkiness that you might have on the skin. And so you can get a color corrector to lightly put on top of that, and then put, again, like the concealer or foundation that we talked about in the right undertone on top of that, just very, very lightly. And that'll help conceal that area as well.
Those are great tips. And you want to know what? I remember when the L'Oreal Color Match came out, like back in the early 2000s, and it was all the rage.
Yeah.
It was like so popular.
Yes, it's so good. I still recommend clients do it all the time. I love it. I think it's great.
That's amazing. So I think that's a great tip. And so many of our clients are going to find value in that. And another thing that Chris had mentioned, and that you actually brought up before we started recording, Christy, is the sustainability of fashion. Chris, have you seen that more clients are asking, like, how can I choose more sustainable clothing?
Definitely cosmetics.
Yeah.
Clothing is more maybe me.
I've seen a couple clients, like I would say like every few months we get someone saying, I want to start buying more sustainable or healthier fabrics, like or whatever that may
cotton, organics, non-GMO, or PFAS, like these types of infused brands.
Especially with the fast fashion.
Yes.
Which is
yes.
great because people are becoming aware, and I love it. So like,
And can I
bring it
nerd out
on.
with you guys for just a
Yes.
second on that? So there was a study done by Dr. Heidi Yellen, I believe I'm pronouncing her name correctly, and she had actually done a study on the frequency of clothing. And so if we're to look at it on a scale of 100, just to keep it simple, if you're to wear wool or linen or cotton, it can actually increase your body's frequency and help your vibration become really healthy. Whereas when you're wearing like polyesters, man-made fabrics, things of that nature, it actually has a low frequency of only 15. And that is the frequency of a deceased body. And so it physically lowers the vibration of your body. It's actually why in hospitals back in the day, they used to have linen bed sheets for the patients, because it was not only antibacterial, but it also has a vibrational healing element to it as well. And so it's why people naturally feel better wearing natural fibers. It's good for you. It's really good for you.
That's so cool. I had
Isn't that
no
fascinating?
idea about that. That's when everyone's like, well, I gotta go throw out all my polyester. I can only wear linen from now on. Everything's linen. My bed sheets are linen. My clothes are linen.
Yeah.
I do it
So
with
many
other
good
things in my
suppliers on Etsy.
house,
Sorry?
right? I do it with other things in my house. Like we
Yeah.
have curtains on the girls' room. They had to be cotton. And my
Yeah.
husband's like, why do they have to be cotton? I said, because I'm not having the sun, which is going to emit into the plastic, which is going to infuse into the house.
Yeah.
So by concept, science concept of what we do, that makes sense. But now you've just put that whole vibrational, and
It's
all
huge.
of those products, they're natural,
Yeah.
right? Meaning not made for man. So they are going to have a frequency that's higher. So I love it. Like that was pretty cool.
And so many
So
people say,
cool.
like, if I want my clothing to last longer, like, sweaters, for example, they pill and things lose shape and whatever else. So, and it's not that natural fibers don't do those things, but natural fibers will not pill and lose their shape as fast or in the same capacity that man-made fibers will. So viscose, for example, you see it in a lot of sweaters, and I hate viscose. It's one of the things I tell people to stay away from, because it's actually not only a fabric, it does feel soft initially, but it does not retain its shape. It's the one that loses its shape the fastest, and it retains body odor. And so it is one of the worst fabrics to buy, in my opinion. And so, especially if you see brands and retailers charging like hundreds of dollars for it, I'm like, please, like, no. And so again, like the more we can go in the natural route, the better.
I'm going to be going and looking at the tags of all of my shirts after.
Well, the thing is if you look it up, it will say derivative of bamboo.
Yes.
And everybody's like, oh, that's so natural. That's so good. That's so whatever. But bamboo isn't really made for clothing.
Yeah.
Right?
The wordplay is insane in the fashion industry. Like sometimes if you see like this product is made of recycled material. Sometimes the only thing that is recycled, but they can get away with it legally, is the tag that is printed on.
Like the nutrition world, the exact same thing.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. It's the most infuriating thing on the planet.
Oh
And what's worse is because fast fashion's picked up so much, and the consumer has gotten into like, well, I don't want to spend a lot of money on my clothes, and therefore brands have caught on to that, and they're not producing the same quality that they used to. I find that most people don't even know what quality is in clothing anymore. And so they're just the things that clothing companies are getting away with is insane, just in terms of what the consumer's buying. Like I remember when I very first got into this industry, like it was hard to find a pant not lined. Like you would always have your dress pants lined on the inside. And now you can't find that. You can't find dress pants that are lined. All trousers, you can see the stitching on the inside, and having a lined trouser is something that's more sustainable and will make sure that pant lasts, because the friction between the movement of your joints and, just as you move around today is not going to touch the actual outer material, but now it does. And so we're wearing through our clothing faster too.
Interesting. So how in this day and age of what we're living in, how can we really start to create that sustainability and not end up just buying a bunch of stuff that disintegrates after a few uses?
Okay, so it's a bit of a nuanced topic, and I wish I could say I had hardcore brands that were go-tos of mine, but I don't. And so the one thing, and I say this because I am not someone that only shops sustainable brands, and don't come for me. People listening, in case that's
I am
like
the same.
But
I do both. I try for both.
Yes, and I'm like, you know what? I'm guilty. I love a good trendy Zara top sometimes, but I am someone that invests in my clothing otherwise. And so the way that I approach it, that I feel is a little bit easier for people to manage, And anyone listening, you are welcome to go to my YouTube channel and see this in action. But I put together what I call modules, which is part of a capsule wardrobe formula. And I'm saying this as someone that does not use a capsule wardrobe. So I want to be emphatic, like you do not have to be the person that needs to do a capsule wardrobe to use this, because I am not, but this is how I build my wardrobe, and it's how I build the wardrobe of my clients too. And so what this looks like, and I'm sorry, it's going to sound very mathy for a moment for those of you listening, but essentially what you're going to look at and what a module consists of is 6 items. And all of these 6 items in a module have to mix and match with one another. And so what it comprises of is one outer layer. So this outer layer can be a blazer, a cardigan, a denim jacket, anything you want to put as the outer shell in an outfit. Just think of it that way. It also consists of 2 bottoms. So this can be 2 skirts, 2 trousers, 2 jeans, a skirt and a jean, like whatever you want. You mix it to your heart's content. And then 3 tops. Now, these 3 tops, again, you can mix and match, but they will go with the 2 pants and they would go with the blazer. Now, the combinations of this, not to confuse anybody, is that when you mix and match all those 6 items, so if you were to take the first top and you match it with either of those 2 bottoms, that gives you 2 outfits. If you were to do that same combo again with the blazer, that gives you another different set of outfit combinations. So depending on how you mix and match this, one module, which equates to about 20 hours in a week, gives you 6 to 12 outfit combinations.
Whoa. And
so the reason I say it equates to 20 hours in a week is you got to wash your clothes, right? And so you need more than 6 outfit items. So where the magic happens is when I'm shopping for a client, and of course, all of you can do this at home, when you add a second module, so another 6 pieces that match with the first. And so again, this is a lot easier when you start building within your colors, right? You're working within a palette. But again, you can choose neutrals. You can do this at home very easily. So when you mix in a second one that matches with the first, you will have taken your outfit combinations from 12 up to 24 to 48 outfit combinations. And then when you match in a third module, which is only 18 clothing items, and I know all of you listening, you got more than 18 pieces hanging up in your closet right now, okay?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So when we go up to 18 pieces, that takes your combination from 48 to 162 to 216 outfit combinations.
Whoa.
And before anyone's like, well, it's all going to look the same. Don't try me, because this is why I'm saying go to my YouTube channel, because I have put together, I think there's 4 videos now, and the fashion itself might look a little dated in them because these videos are a bit older, but I've put together 2.5 modules. So it's about, I think there are about 15 pieces that I've got in those videos. I literally try all the outfits on. It was exhausting, but I've made from those, I showcase 111 outfits on average in those videos, and I go through all of them. So
that's wild.
You can see how it is in real time. And if it sounds confusing to listen to, it lands a little bit more visually when you can watch it. And so if any of you want to go check that out, it's on my YouTube channel.
I'm gonna put your YouTube channel in the show notes anyways, but I'm actually gonna go and grab that actual module video, and I'll link that in the show notes as well.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make a note.
I love that you mathed, because for the people who really love that, it's like myself, it's a matter of fact. It's a yes or no.
Yeah.
So if I am a tad more frugal, the word I like to use, right?
Frugal.
And I don't want to purchase it towards clothes and stuff. I don't really like trying things on. Honestly, I rather just sit at the food court, eat nothing, and let you do your thing.
I love shopping, Chris. I love shopping. It actually makes my soul happy.
My husband takes my daughters, so they're paired well. But when we look at it like that, it's now you can see your budget working for you.
Yes.
So whether you're frugal, whether you like math or you don't, whether people like shop, Katie's like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to go pick 6 things right now. I know they're going to match. They'll probably be there by tonight, right? Like, so I really think that works with everybody, that philosophy. I love it.
Yeah. And it's something that can cater to any budget. Now, I say to everyone, buy the best quality you can afford. And for those that are really wanting to go the extra mile and buy the natural fibers, buy the sustainable things, again, like it is going to cost you more. It's just the nature of fashion and how society is working right now. But when you are pairing less and buying less, and you're being so strategic and intentional with your money, what you buy, making sure it mixes and matches, the colors are on point, like all these things, it matches your personality, all the things that I get into. This is when your closet has a total glow up and actually feels like the person you want to be. And this is because you're being more intentional with it. You can add more, if you choose, into the investment behind any given clothing item, knowing that it's going to stretch longer with you. Like most of the pieces I've got in my own closet have been with me for years and years and years. Like I don't really need to shop. Like obviously I'm going to, because of course, like it's my job.
Yeah, of course.
I love it. Made a career out of it. But for the person that doesn't want to, you don't have to, especially if you're really getting like nice current silhouettes that are in fibers that you love, that speak to how you want to dress. Like the shopping becomes so secondary, but your closet is compounding. It's really building itself. And so you'll actually be able to see from this perspective when something starts to wear out, rather than panicking. It's like, oh, but like that's easy to replace. And I know what to look for based on all the other things that it goes with, right? So it simplifies everything.
When it comes to that sustainability, Christie, are there pieces that you recommend investing a little more in, where you're like, this is where, like, if you want to invest in a good piece, these are the items? And then if there's, something where you want a little more trendy, where it's like, okay, you could spend a little less.
So anything that's an extreme silhouette, like anything that's an extreme silhouette is the things to caution with. So like if you're getting something with like ultra strong shoulders that are kind of like happening in fashion right now, like, is that going to stay around in fashion forever? No. And so you can love it. And the faster you hop on a trend, the longer, like the longevity will stay in your closet a little bit longer, versus if you are buying a like a hot trend or a fad, and you're buying it like after it's been in season for a while, the duration of that in your closet is going to be even less than it was originally, right? But in terms of what's going to last in your closet, again, like you hear people talking about, here are the wardrobe basics, and there are definitely suggestions out there, but it also has an asterisk because it depends on your lifestyle. And so the one thing that I encourage anyone to do is to write down a given week on how you spend your time. So where do you actually spend your time? Are you doing desk work? Are you going into an office? Are you rolling around on the floor with your kids? Are you out hiking somewhere? Are you going to events in the evening? Do you need something to go out somewhere? Like, get clear on break down an average week and how many hours you spend in every single category. And then from there, look at, what do I actually need to make my wardrobe function from that place in my closet? So as a very like baseline, so take this all with a grain of salt, I think that all women should have a great pair of jeans that make their ass look fantastic.
Love it.
We all need that, right? Like we all want the nice fitting, no pancake butt in your jeans. Like don't get something that makes your bum look saggy, but just a great pair of jeans that feel comfortable. Get it at a good rise. Ladies listening, make sure that the rise of your jeans hits the small of your waist, wherever that is on your body. That is your ideal rise, so we don't get the muffin top. And so that's the ideal rise. So get a great pair of jeans. I also recommend that every woman has a nice pair of trousers. Trousers can be styled with sneakers. You can style it with a kitten heel. You can style it like to dress up or to wear to work. You can dress it down with a basic t-shirt and a denim jacket if you want. And it can be, but again, like you've got something that can take you from day to play if you need it. So I do think those are good essentials. A basic t-shirt and a crew neck, I think, is lovely. Or if you're someone with a large bust, get a deeper V, because it can cut into that chest depth for you a little bit. And then I think at least having an outer layer that feels good to you. So I'm a blazer junkie. It's like my one thing. I'm like Superman with it in my closet. There's 1,000 of them as my uniform. But for someone else, like maybe this is a cardigan or a denim jacket or a really cool trench coat that you love, like who knows, but like have an outer layer that you can throw on that just feels a little bit more interesting to the outfit. Because sometimes if you're wearing just jeans and a tee, unless you're going to accessorize the heck out of it, it can fall a little flat. And so with that in mind, when you have an outer layer, pick some accessories that you love, but don't just pick the one necklace, the one ring, the one set of earrings, because eventually it feels like it falls flat for women. So just have like 2 or 3 options, keep them out on display. So you have some variety for yourself, because what's out of sight is out of mind. And the rest is gravy. You get to choose from there what you need based on your lifestyle.
That was so many good tips in there. I know everyone's like furiously writing down. So just rewind and listen to it again so you don't miss anything. And before we finish up, Christie, because you've shared so much with our audience already, is, this episode's going to be airing in the summertime. So what do you see as some trends that are going to be coming out this summer and maybe even early fall?
Oh, okay. So for trends, so one of the biggest things that we're going to see is this like heavy romanticism that's coming for fashion. So lots of floral everything, very whimsical stuff's coming down. So we're going to see a lot of like voluminous sleeves, voluminous shoulders, lots of like ruching and bows and things of that nature. You're going to see a lot of like rose prints everywhere, and like eyelet stuff that's cut into like summer clothing, for example, like very like feminine and soft. And so I know that's not going to speak to everybody. And so again, like play with it as it feels good to you. And if it doesn't, obviously discard it. Everything with fashion will pass eventually. But those are things that are going to be kind of trending at the moment. The flare jeans, the wide leg, and the straight leg are not going anywhere. So, have some fun with those silhouettes in any kind of like denim or pant that speaks to you. The kitten heel is also not going anywhere. So especially if you're someone that hates heels and you need something that like just amps it up a little bit. If you need a little dressier shoe, like the kitten heels are really great to kind of invest in. And then the colors, we're going to see like the dark cherry red, and lots of like patent leathers and things like that coming out. Olive green is going to be everywhere. And we're still going to see charcoal really, really hitting it with a little dose of pink. And so those are going to be the trending colors.
My colors are coming in, charcoal and pink.
Yeah, there you go. You're perfect.
So we're going back to the early 90s.
Yes, that's very much where we're at right now. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, because I remember having all of that and I wore it.
Chris is like, I'll dig it out of my closet. It's still in there.
No, I burned it. That's something that shouldn't come back. just saying.
We're very much in, I would say, like, 88 to 92, 93 right now in fashion. Yeah, very much in that era.
Good times, minus the fashion, but I remember them well.
Yeah. And so those colors, like even for anyone listening, even though if you haven't had your colors done, like a lot of those colors that are going to be trending really work for some of my deeper skin tones, like that dark cherry red. Oh my God. Like if any of you have that beautiful, rich, deep skin tone, like please rock this color. You will look like $1 million. Even if you don't have that skin tone, like please have fun with it, of course. But like that color in particular is just really going to sing on you. Yeah. Lots of good stuff.
Awesome. Christie, thank you so much for coming in today. Like I said, I'm going to put all of Christie's contact info, where to find her on YouTube, on Instagram, her website, Fashion Translated. I've been on your newsletter since I think you started Fashion Translated. So I'm going to put I still get it. Thank you for that. And if people want to come and hang out with you, where are you the most?
So I tend to hang out on Instagram, actually, the most these days, which is just my name, Christie Ressel, on Instagram. And my podcast will be coming out with its new season as well. And that's also when that's up and running, where I love to hang out. We can geek out more on style, and I help my stylists and stuff as well. We get into a little business with them as well. But all the things, those are my two spots to come hang out with me.
Just added.
Oh, I love
+1. I mean, I won't be going shopping, but I absolutely love your language.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice. Thank you.
Awesome, Christie. Thank you again so much for coming. You guys, rewind this episode, listen to it again. You're going to get so many tidbits, and we'll see you guys next week on the Clear Skin Chronicles.
Thanks for hanging out with us this week on the Clear Skin Chronicles. We'll see you next Wednesday with a brand new episode. Remember to subscribe to the show and drop us a review. Sending glowing vibes your way, Katie and Chris.